Hey, NASCAR fans, you're back here in Kansas City, live with the CEO, Sack Nation Stone Cold Jones. Gentlemen, start your engine.
Chris Jones with the Gentlemen Start Your Engines last night. Hey, he got his engine started with the big contract. That leads to our first question for Fill in the Blank today, Charean. Blank would be the best NFL personality to go, Gentlemen, Start Your Engines. Although Chris Jones did a much better job than I would have expected. You know, he's not one of those guys who's out there with the big, colorful personality. I think he did a good job. I think he nailed it. Who would be the best one from the NFL in your view?
It's a no-brainer, Mike. If you say anybody other than Rob Gronkowski, you're wrong, because he would be the best at Gentlemen Start Your Engine. Sometimes it's ladies, it's drivers start your engine, I know, but now they have all men driving. I did watch the race last night. He did do a good job, and you think of other guys who probably would do a pretty good job too, Phillip Rivers and Peyton Manning, if we're talking about former players, and I think Richard Sherman would be pretty good. But Rob Gronkowski absolutely would be the best guy to do it, don't you think?
Well, yeah, he would be the best. Now, there's also the best, and then there's the most entertaining, and the most that would be conducive to our jobs, things to talk about, like the Anthony Fauci first pitch last night. I'd like to see Bill Belichick have to do it. I'd like to see how. Well, yeah. What would he do? Would he like really fall into it and get excited about it, or would it be the typical flatline Bill Belichick? Gentlemen, put your keys in the ignition and turn them. So I'd want to see somebody that we wouldn't expect to do it. That's why I enjoyed Chris Jones. I wouldn't have expected him to be great, and he was great. So I'd like to see somebody that, you know Gronk is going to be good. I'd like to see somebody else and see what they could do.
Hey, but it's like Fauci. You have to know your limitations, Mike. You said that earlier. I think Bill Belichick has to know his limitations. He would not be good at that job. Do your job, and that would not be one of his jobs.
Pete Demolitis has a suggestion that I will credit him for instead of just outright stealing it like I usually do. He suggests Justin Tucker, the Ravens kicker, doing it in opera voice, which would definitely be entertaining.
I like that one. Yeah, we go with that.
All right, next topic, Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs receiver. Following up on the recent comments from Chris Jones that the Chiefs are going to deliver 5+ championships, which means at least 6. Tyreek Hill sees Chris Jones 6 and raises it to 7, claiming that the Chiefs are chasing Michael Jordan. Tyreek Hill predicting 7 rings and chasing Jordan is what, Charean?
It's crazy. I guess it's good to have goals, but, we think back to Aaron Rodgers when he first started his career. He said, oh, my gosh, this guy's going to be awesome. He's going to win multiple Super Bowls. He's sitting here at 1 Super Bowl toward the end of his career. They have drafted his replacement now, and he has 1 Super Bowl to his name. Brett Favre, 1 Super Bowl. Peyton Manning, we saw how long it took him to get another Super Bowl. These things just don't grow on trees. You don't go pick them and go, oh, this is so easy. And you look at how hard it was for the Chiefs last year. I mean, now we think, oh, they have the best team in the NFL. It was hard last year. They weren't the best team in the regular season. They got down in every playoff game, had to come back. It's a difficult thing to do. So to think you're going to go win 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7, dynasties don't happen unless they're in New England, modern-day dynasties. And that was only because of Brady and Belichick. So I guess it's possible, but I'm not going to bet on them winning more than a couple of Super Bowls for sure.
Yeah, look, I mean, the Patriots won 6 over a 20-year period, and we're astounded by that in this day and age with the salary cap. Now, look, Patrick Mahomes did a contract that makes it easier for the Chiefs to maneuver over the next dozen years, but it really is lunacy to make that kind of a claim when you just have 1. Maybe if you get to 2 or 3, I could see that creep in, proving you can go back to the Valley of 0 and 0, as Dennis Green called it, and climb to the top of the mountain again. But the target is going to be even larger. And, yeah, they had to pull a rabbit out of the hat 3 times last year. We had the clip of the 3rd and 15 play earlier with Kyle Shanahan talking about how he realized we're in a game here. It wasn't a game. They were down 10 points, the Chiefs were, with 7 minutes left. They were down 24 in the divisional round. They were down 10 points twice in the first half of the AFC Championship game. You can't bank on that always working out your way. And I know when you have Patrick Mahomes, maybe you can, and maybe that's the difference here. Maybe all these other guys can talk all they want, and when push comes to shove, Mahomes is going to find a way to make it happen. Maybe that's why they're confident to the point of delusional over the top. But it's too hard. It's too hard to win one, much less 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The year after the Patriots won their first one, what did they do? They didn't even make the playoffs in 2002. All right, Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins quarterback, rookie 5th overall pick out of Alabama, says he's ready to go. Charean, he'll be starting by when?
Well, I don't think he'll start until after the Dolphins are out of the playoff race. And with the additional playoff teams and with Tom Brady no longer in the AFC East, I think the Dolphins are going to stay in the race for most of the season. So I'm going to put the over-under at week 14. I think it's going to be more like the Patrick Mahomes rookie season. When he played week 17, he got that one game in and then came back and was the starter the next year. I think he's going to sit on the bench for most of the year, especially since there was no off-season program. So, yeah, I think it's going to be late in the year. They're out of the race. If they're in the race, then I don't see him starting this year.
I'm taking the under on that one. I think we're going to see him by Halloween. I think that Brian Flores, the coach of the Dolphins, is not going to be worried about Tua Tagovailoa's injury history because, look, at some point we got to put him out on the field and see what he can do. And if you're going to draft this guy, you are accepting the reality that he will have potential injuries, and we need to find out if he can protect himself at the NFL level. Look, Alex Smith is not the quarterback in Miami. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick, and we see Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, when things start to go well, that's the setup for him to start to have that dip where you start looking around for other alternatives. And I think that Flores, at the end of the day, is going to go with the guy he thinks gives him the best chance to win. And at some point before Halloween, he's going to think Tua Tagovailoa gives him the best chance to win. All right, last one. Vikings signing coach Mike Zimmer to a contract extension is what, Charean?
Well, I think it's smart. And right after that report came out that the Vikings and Mike Zimmer were close to a multi-year extension, I texted Zim and I just said, hey, I'm really happy for you. Zim is one of the all-time good guys in this league. I just can't even tell you how much respect I have for him and Tony Dungy. And I've been around a lot of great coaches and good men. Herm Edwards is another one that comes to mind, Rod Marinelli. But Zim's happy to be there, and I truly thought he would come back to Dallas and coach the Cowboys at some point, but that's not going to happen. And I remember sitting down with him before he had gotten his head coaching job, and it took him a long time to get one. And he said, you know what, when I finally get a head coaching job, 31 teams are going to regret that they didn't give me a chance to coach their team. I believe that he will win a Super Bowl at some point. He's not going to win 6 or 7, but I think he will win a Super Bowl in his career in Minnesota.
Charean, it's far too early to be drinking. And I'm not saying they won't, but I think that signing him to an extension is a no-brainer once you sign Kirk Cousins to an extension. I had an argument that I made earlier this year that with Zimmer and Cousins and Rick Spielman and Dalvin Cook all entering contract years, just let them enter the contract years. Just let them go prove it. Now, maybe the idea with the pandemic, let's have some stability. Let's do what we can this year. Let's hope that it works. And then let's focus on 2021. You know, they've been close. They've been competitive. He's been one of the best coaches in Vikings history. And once you keep Cousins, you have to keep Zimmer, and they're going to see if this formula eventually can work. They just have a hard time. We were talking about this yesterday. When they come up against that dominant team, they have a hard time getting it done. We'll see if that changes.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.